Okay, so I've got the parapet finished, or the modelling anyway, and so now I'm going to go to a realistic view so that we can see the material. And you can see there that it's still all a plain grey. So I want to make a material for my walls and assign that also to the parapet. So with the wall selected, I'm going to go to Edit Type and then Duplicate. So just to remind you, this is a really important step. Could be any of those walls selected, so I'll just cancel it. Oh, down on the view control bar, you've got the button that looks like a cube, and next to your scale and other ones, so there you should see wireframe, hidden line, shaded, and all those other options. And so then, again, selecting any wall to begin with, any wall that's generic 300mm or the type you've started with. You might have used a different one. Don't worry, because we're going to make it from make the sandstone wall now. So I'm going to go to Edit Type in Properties. So that's a really important option if you haven't used that very much. And then there, next to the type name, generic 300mm wall, you'll see the Duplicate button. In Properties.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
Yep, Duplicate, and I'm going to call this Sandstone. Sandstone 300mm wall. Even just sandstone would be okay, just so you know which one it is. And then we click OK. And then you'll see there's a parameter below structure, and you've got the Edit button next to that. You're going to click on it, and you'll see then that it'll most likely have a material like finish as the only material in that wall. So don't worry about layers above, layers below. Just in between that you should see the material, and when you click in that field, where it probably says finish, but if it says by category, that's fine as well. And you'll see then you get a browse button. The button with the dots on it is browse. And then you're into the material browser. So when you scroll there, you'll see it'll have a list of materials already in your project. Unfortunately, there's no sandstone, so we've got to make that. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make a new material from scratch. Down on the in the group of buttons, there should be 3 buttons below that list of materials, and the second one there is a sphere with a plus on it. If you click there, and then you can choose Create New Material. And it'll say default new material for the name. So there, when you find it, so just right click and you can choose rename. And we'll call it sandstone block. Sandstone block. Yeah. Okay, so it'll move down to the S's. Yep, just press it. Oh no, but stay in it. So if you've gone out of it, just click onto the browse button again, select the material, and just click browse to go back to the browser. Yep. So you can see the little swatch next to it shows you that it's still just a grey, plain grey material. So under, you should see on the right, under graphics, you'll have the colour. So I'm going to click on that, that colour swatch. And have you done computer primary colours before? So red, green and blue as your primaries, have you come across that?
We're doing colour now.
Oh good, okay.
We're not on the computer.
Right, oh, you're doing colour, you are doing colour theory, good, yeah. So you're probably used to using red, yellow, blue as the primaries? Yeah, and that's the old-fashioned way. That's fine when you're painting and doing things like that, but with computers you've got to be a bit more accurate. So they're a little bit off the real primaries, those traditional ones. And that's why in a printer you'll see cyan, magenta and yellow. Other printers' primary colours. Cyan, magenta and yellow. And that's just like red, yellow, blue. That's pigment. But here we're working with red, green and blue because we're working with light. And red, green and blue are actually the closest you'll get to the true primaries because they're the receptors you have in your eyes. You've got a red, green and blue receptor in, yeah, unless you're colourblind. And even colourblind people do have them. So,
what's the CMYK thing?
yeah, pigment, same as red, yellow, blue, same idea. Yeah. So that's why you'll see it's got a few colours on the left to choose as a starting point. So I can choose, say, orange, but then notice it'll give you a red, green and blue value. You can also just use the slider here to adjust that and you'll see those values change. So that's sort of a pinky colour. It's a bit too pink really. Yeah, so I can try changing it also in this panel here. That's a good way of fine-tuning the colour. That's more of a sandy colour now. And if you like Pantone as well, you've got the Pantone option there, which gives you the full Pantone palette. That's sometimes a bit too much so I won't use that, but just in case you're wondering. So I'm just trying to get a sandy tone here as the general shaded colour for this wall. So I'm going to click OK, because I'm happy with that. And then the surface pattern. So below the colour field, you'll see the surface pattern, and you'll there have a pattern set to none. So I'm going to click on that, where it says none, and then change it to model. So down the bottom there, you've got drafting and model. And if you scroll down, once you've chosen model, you should be able to find just the biggest block. We'll change the size later when we have time, but I think the 225 by 450 for now is fine. So block 225 by 450, which is close enough to the size. It's just a graphical pattern anyway. So I'm going to be on model. Yeah. So that's it. Click OK there. You'll see a picture of the pattern. So that's what we see on the outside of the wall. But then you've got the cut pattern, which is what you'll see in plan when it's cut. And so sandstone essentially is masonry. So you can just use a masonry cut pattern. That's right, brick, exactly. Yep. So if you click where it's got none for the pattern under cut pattern, leave it on drafting. Well, you have to leave it on drafting. And I think for now we can just use brickwork. And yeah, sometimes people just use the single hatch for this. So masonry brick would be another option. But yeah, in fact, actually, I think that's better. So just, yeah, masonry brick rather than just brickwork. Yeah, yeah. So masonry originally did mean stonework, only, but it means, you know, brick comes under that now, and now it's normally brickwork and not stone. So here, if I just click OK, you can see then it's got the pattern there. Just leave the colours for both of those on grey for now, so and you'll see what that's doing. So I'll get just to click OK, and then OK again, and again, and that will take you out of it. And so you can see there, it's still grey. So that's how it should be. That's what I wanted to show you. It's because it's unrealistic. We haven't done the realistic material yet with that image I showed you. All we've done is the shading material. So if you go to shaded, then you'll see it.
Can I see the top of your thing? Sorry, this section. So I think where it's from.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I have to feel it.
Yep. But that's all right. So yeah, that's right. That's right.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yep. So now you can select the other walls.
Yeah. All of them together?
You can, yep, or separately. You can do them one at a time. But if you want to select all of them, that's fine. So I'll just hold Control and select all three. But you can do them one at a time. You don't need to do all of that again. If you go into Properties, you'll see that you have sandstone 300mm wall in the list of walls. And so that's why you do all of that setup, so that any time you need to use a sandstone wall in the future, you can just choose it from the list and it'll have all the setup.
So, sorry, you choose the wall and then you do
Yeah, so just in Properties, you'll see it'll say what kind of wall it is at the top, and you just choose sandstone wall. Yep.
and it does it.
Yep.
I love it.
Okay, and there's a little thing that you might want to fix. You can see on mine as well that it's not going around the side of the front wall. So that looks a bit strange. So there, you can select the wall, and we're going to fix that in a minute. You'll see when you go back to Edit Type. So just select any wall, Edit Type, and then it'll say Wrapping at Ends, and just change that to Exterior. So just, yep, when you select the wall, click Edit Type, and then you'll see that option there, Wrapping at Ends, and you can change that to Exterior. No, you can just leave that.
Just leave it as none?
Yep.
Do not wrap?
Yep.
Exterior.
We're not that.
Yep.
Wrapping it in, we're not that.
Oh, it didn't work. Mine says wrapping it ends none. So
Yeah, no, so it's fixed at the top. You can see there, it is wrapping it for these ends, but then this part is, let's see, maybe it is thinking of it as an insert. So we'll set wrapping it inserts, just set that to Exterior.
you can pick any wall then, it doesn't matter.
Yep, doesn't matter because they're all the same kind of wall.
If you're wrapping it insert exterior.
Yep. And if it still doesn't work, there's another way, which we'll come to later.
Just to press apply or just...
No, just OK is fine.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You just click mine says wrapping ends or wrapping insert. Do not wrap. No, you like to come on.
Just set them both to Exterior. So wrapping at inserts and wrapping at ends, just choose Exterior for both of those.
Has yours worked? I don't know.
No, so it's doing it again on the top part, but then to get those, if you don't, sometimes the way the materials go around the different things is a bit fiddly, but you'll find on the Modify tab, there's this button that says Paint.
Hang on a second. Where's that?
So, yep, Modify, and then in the Geometry panel, it's the one with the sphere pointing to the cube. And so just in the Geometry panel here, you've got that group above the hammer.
Yeah, yeah. Pointing to you, yeah.
Yep. So once you click on that,
With normal plane.
it should have sandstone block selected. So just leave that up, that panel that comes up, and then you can choose any of those surfaces. And notice how when I pick them, it'll put that pattern onto those as well. So I'll just show you on the other side. Now, don't worry if the direction isn't perfect. Yeah, you can change that, but we'll look at that later. But on the main part, it should be the right direction. Okay, so that's useful, and we'll do a lot more with paint later on. So try to remember that one, but we'll definitely be doing a lot more with that. It doesn't really matter if it doesn't wrap around at the moment anyway. So the final thing I want to show you is just how to change that material, because like I showed you before, in realistic, it's still just plain grey. So I'm going to select again just any one of those walls, edit type, and then next to structure again, edit to get back to the material. And there you can see is the sandstone block material.
Just if you want to change it.
Exactly.
Show us.
Exactly.
Same procedure.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. And so then when you click browse, we've done the graphics. Now I'm going to go to appearance. And so really what this is hopefully going to make clear is that in Revit you've got two different display systems. You've got the graphics mode, which is what you see in shaded and hidden line, but then for rendering it uses the appearance, which is more photorealistic usually. So I don't want to use this boring grey thing. I want to get something new from the library. And so to do that you can right click or click on the button at the end. So you'll see there's a button with two squares and little arrows between them. That's replace. You'll also get it if you right click on the appearance tab and you can choose replace. And so then you should see something that reminds you, so you know you're on the appearance tab, so then you'll see in here it's got the appearance folder. So if you double click on that to expand it or click on the arrow, then go down, you should see there's a stone folder. Yep, yep. So notice there are, right click and then go to replace. And then, yep. Yeah, so double click on the one you want. So once you find, so this one I'm double clicking on small uneven stones brown. Small uneven rectangular stones brown it's called. So when you double click you should see then it will come up in the appearance panel which is behind your asset browser.
So you click on the choose one by going on.
Yeah, double click on it. Yeah. Yep, that's it, you've done it. Yep. Yep. So now you can close the asset browser. Yeah, close it, and then you'll see in appearance, you've got the new material and you can adjust it further.
Oh, okay. Do you click apply or?
You can, yeah, so we'll just maybe click OK.
Okay.
And then OK again, and again. And so then you should see it's got that stone material assigned to the whole wall. All of those walls, they're the same kind of wall. Oh, you've got to be in realistic to see it. Oh yes, of course, yeah.
Holy moly.
Yep. That's right. So they're too small. It is a type of sandstone, but it's just far too small. So again, same as before, you can go back by selecting the wall into edit type again, edit the structure, find the material, click browse, back to appearance. That's right, yeah, any wall. That's right, they're all the same kind of wall. So changing one, yep, changes them all.
Do you not change like the physical profile of that?
That's what we're going to do.
Oh.
That's what we're going to do. So now, back on the appearance, it's still worth loading them in from the library because it gives you the basic setup, which we want. So back on the appearance tab, you'll see it'll have the file name.
The file.
Yeah, the file name. So just below that swatch of the stone. Yep, that's right. Mason. Yep, that's it. So it's just ashlar, I think, is a type of sandstone. So when you click on that file name, then you can browse to the folder I showed you earlier on the P drive. So you'll say mats up the top, and that's the folder you're in initially. And if you then go down to student resources, the P drive, interior design, EDU DC interior design, find material images, and then stone. And we'll start with sandstone blocks, I think was the better one.
So can you retrace the file? Sorry.
Yep, sure. So, okay, so click one.
So it's
Yep,
Max.
yep, Max.
We're going to
P drive, yep,
We're going to design.
yep.
Then we go to material image.
Material images, and yep. Then stone. Oh, stones. So I'm going to use sandstone brick wall. Yeah, just double click on it, yeah, or just select it and choose open, yep. Okay, so I know we're a bit over time, but this is the last thing. So notice it's brought it in, we've got the image there, but does it look right up there? No. Yeah, it's too dark. Well, yeah, but also notice we've got these funny patterns on here that don't line up with the image. And that's because it's not just the colour that comes from the image. You'll see below it's got relief pattern. Click on the little arrow next to that and you'll see it's still using the relief pattern from the other stones. And so it actually puts bumps in, so it makes the wall low and high based on that image. So black means low, white means high. So when it renders, it looks like it's got depth, and you don't have to model in detailed stone. Yeah. And so that's how they get realistic textures. When you see 3D in movies and things like that, and it looks real and looks like it has all this detail, a lot of it's done with texture maps. Yeah. Yep. So there, just click on the arrow next to it, and oh no, sorry, it's a stone, so it's a masonry texture. So we've got to do this differently. So just change to the same one. So if you click on the browse, the image name again, and then just choose the same image as you just have. So it doesn't need to be black and white. Black and white definitely works better, but you can use colour images, and that's what we'll do here. So sandstone brick wall, open. So now notice how much better that is. It lines up.
So do you have to do those steps or when you actually done one with correction?
No, that lines up, but then it's also maybe a bit too high. So notice on 2, I'm going to take that down to about 1, and that's going to reduce the bumps as well. So,
What's that? So is that a stage file and then you use that?
yeah.
What's it called? It's a
Sandstone brick wall. Yep. Now I'm going to get you to change the size, but there's a bit of a problem with Revit. It's just a little bug in the program. If you click on the image swatch, it should show you the size in millimetres. But usually, the first time you do it, it won't come up. It'll tell you here, so you can see it's 1.5, about 1500, and we've got, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it's not far off the right size actually. But yeah, so maybe we'll do more with that next week. So you can see there it is coming up with the measurements in the panel above, but what I want to also show you, but I'll show you next week, is that you should have the size down below so you can adjust it. And if it comes up, so you just click on the image. Yeah. So when you see things like UV scale, you shouldn't be seeing those things. And so if it doesn't mean anything to you, just ignore it, because it should be showing you meaningful values. In fact, I will show you how it should come up. So I'm just going to click OK, and then OK, and OK. So it's got my sandstone block pattern. It's much better, but now I want to make it bigger. Still too small. So it should be, I think, about double the size that it is. And we can probably get a better pattern for it anyway later, but this will do for now. So again, selecting the wall, edit type, edit, browse, back to appearance, clicking on the swatch, and notice how now I don't have as many different values here, and the ones that I do have mean something to you. The others are actually useful, but they shouldn't be showing them to you. So here it's got the size in millimetres. Okay, so it's 1500. I want to make it double, so I'm going to make it 3000. On the appearance tab.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. There you go.
Has it 3,000
Yeah.
Did you say in sales?
No, so if you don't see the size in, oh no, yes, yes, see this, is the size there in millimetres? Yep, that's fine. Yeah, just change it there.
On scale?
Yep, scale, yep. Yeah, so you've got to close, yeah, if you don't get it, just close it all, click done, and then OK, and then OK, and then OK, and then go back into it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Now remember, your relief pattern also has a size, and you need to do that the same size. It should be in millimetres. So, yeah, so it should just have about 1500 in millimetres. So 3000. Yeah.
Just change it to the same.
Yeah. Yep. So that's done now. And if I click OK, how much better is that? Still not proportional. So we should be making them wider, but again, we'll do all of that next week and probably get a better stone pattern anyway, if we can find one.
Can you start putting some internals, like if you're going to do some work at home,
Yeah.
can you start putting out internals?
Of course, yeah.
Obvious step.
Yeah, so that's right. So just use the normal wall tool you've been using.
Yep.
Right, so that was the last thing you need to know before you can make your own wall types. Or if you are just doing, say, standard internal partitions. So you could use stud walls in the wall types there. You've got stud timber and stud steel. So say if we choose stud timber.
So you have to make the wall first. And then
Yeah.
So what am I going to use? Stud steel?
Either stud timber probably is better for residential.
90 or 70?
Either, whatever you think is more appropriate. So I'm just going to click to draw some walls in a rough pattern that I might want.
So 70 to 700 thickness.
70 mil.
70 mil.
Yep, yep. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I'm losing my marbles. No, and then my big stuff here.
Good sound.
Yeah.
Around the media room.
So I'll just do a quick perspective in here, and you'll see that. Okay, so by setting all of those walls up, now you've got the pattern on the inside, of course, which you need for this building.
And if you're going to say upstairs, I was going to plug my interior walls.
Yeah. So you'd need to, well, a couple of ways of doing it, but one easy way is just to draw a new wall, a new very thin wall over the surface, which is pretty close to what you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just a camera view.
I don't know.
That and sections, and also remember that using the section boxes. So when you've got a 3D view like this, I'll duplicate it. So it's 3D copy 1, and in properties I'm going to turn on section box over here, and then I can use that box to stretch the sides,
Last time I found that when I was using
and that way. Yeah, yeah, so I'll do that again. So with the initial 3D view, right click on it and go to duplicate. And then if you scroll down in properties, you'll see the option for section box. Tick. So you need to scroll down maybe It should say 3D view at the top. And then if you scroll down in that palette, you should find section box near the middle.
And then
Right? Right. Yeah, tick, yep. Yep.
Then the eye not from that at the top stone, please.
Oh, yeah, sure, I'll like it. Okay, so again, once you've got that section box, you can use the arrows to adjust the size.
whoa.
No, I'm just adjusting the size of that box using the arrows. Yeah. Section box? Oh, sorry.